Yeah,
So, but I
yeah,
say
for
all
sure.
that, yeah, but I'm going off on a tangent here, but I'm saying Tolkien, like great artists, chose to base their stories off of truths, or at least greater, more provable truths rather than assumptions.
And it's interesting to note that the ones that are based on real truth are the ones that seem to kind of stick around. You
Yeah,
know, if
yeah, because that's how reality is. It just is. It doesn't become vapor. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's absolutely true because it just is. Does that make sense?
yeah, absolutely, it corresponds to reality. You can, you're right. You build it on a lie, there's nothing to it. It falls down as soon as you kind of take one little piece of it apart. You look behind the curtain and realize there's nothing really there. And truth it just is. It corresponds to reality, and it stands the test of time. And that's how you can know truth. And
I,
I think that's why art, like what Tolkien created with his world of Middle Earth or Arda or whatever way you want to talk about it, it's still there. It still stands the test of time because there are so many truths in it that
mm-hmm.
correspond to our own human experience and that enrich our own human experience and do what you said earlier. They teach us some kind of moral or lesson about how we can better align our lives to the truth.
Yeah, and what you said is they teach us about the truth, and that's what's so important because you have to know truth to navigate reality because reality is truth. If you try to navigate reality without truth, you'll fail in some way.
Dude, that's probably I've never really thought about that. What it would mean to navigate your world living a complete lie in every way. Like
Yeah.
if you have no access to what is true about life, how much suffering are you going to endure? Not because it's well, I mean, yeah, because it's bad. I believe that, living on a lie is bad because I'm a Christian, but even if you look at it from, just an outside looking in sort of standpoint, living your life based on that which is not true seems kind of detrimental to you. you know,
Yeah.
it seems like it wouldn't be the best way to live.
Yeah, and there's you can expand that in some way um to which I was sorry, I was editing a video in here and I hope it didn't I could hear it. I hope it didn't come through our recording. It might have. That might be unfortunate in some part. Um anyway, yeah, and people, but the thing is, people have done that before. People have navigated like entire cultures based on like like don't go in the woods. The woods are haunted. Well, the woods may not be haunted, but it may be a good thing to not go in them because there could be deadly animals in there.
Yeah, you'll be disemboweled by a scary creature and you'll probably die.
Yeah, so there's an idea of truth with it. Um,
Right.
but with that, because I heard someone debate this, like are some lies or some misunderstandings beneficial? And I think ultimately no, because I still think it would be better to know the truth. And I mean, you can't. I don't think you could live in a Western civilization or one that we consider science based or truth based without believing that, because otherwise you wouldn't pursue it. We wouldn't be continually trying to pursue truth all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of that might be beneficial to learning a lie or living a lie in some way would be like the immediate gratification you might get from it.
Yeah.
But the underlying detriment to your life is going to eventually catch up with you. And wouldn't you have rather avoided that temporary goodness or whatever that is, that temporary pleasure, to live your life based on truth? It's going to be lasting joy.
Well, with that, which you like everlasting joy or lasting joy. Let's talk about life and life more abundantly. Because I mean, if you have systems of control like cults and governments that are built on lies, and but those lies are there because they want to control, and sometimes their intent is, well, this is better for people because it keeps them safe. Well, safe isn't life. Life and
Mm.
life more abundantly means everything that life brings.
I
It
mean, basically anything good done in the world has been accomplished through means that were not very safe.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing is like safety isn't the highest virtue. In fact, it's not a virtue at all.
Mm.
It's
Yeah, in
just it.
fact, yeah, like breaking through the safety barrier and saying, you know what, the the little girl on the other side that, is about to be, hit by a car, it's not very safe for me to run out in front of that car and save that little girl, but it's the right thing to do. And her life is valuable and worth saving. That's truth.
Yeah, and I mean, the entire idea of self-sacrifice or sacrifice. I mean, art. That's the whole thing. Is art shouldn't be safe. Now that doesn't mean art should be schlocky. In fact, what's funny is I'm making a video about aesthetic terrorism, which
Awesome.
which we can go into in just a second. But I mean, we know that shock art and that kind of stuff, and the whole thing is to degrade and push away society and or maybe quote unquote liberate people from boundaries that shouldn't exist that just that are just there for control. You know what I mean? Well, it's
Wow.
like, and that's an accusation. That's a argument we could have another day because it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm not. I have a reason for saying that. But I guess all that to say, art isn't supposed to be safe for the artist. Otherwise, if it costs you nothing, it's worthless.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would probably revise that to say that, you know, most of the things that cost you nothing are probably worthless. Yeah, you're right. Well, I have to give that one some thought.
Yeah, I mean, love costs you something, every day.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I guess if it's really worth living for, it's worth dying for, worth sacrificing for.
Yeah.
Yeah.